It is estimated that 45,000 active duty service persons and veterans committed suicide in the last 6 years. Periodically, the media reminds us that active duty service persons, their spouses, veterans, other partners, that they face difficulties and challenges that most of us won't have to consider. But there's a component of that that we don't talk about, and that's the children. There are nearly 1 million military-connected, meaning they have an active duty parent, kids. 60% of them are school-aged, and 80% of them attend public schools in the United States. This number does not include veterans, reservemen, National Guard, their children, doesn't include them. It's estimated over the next few years by the Department of Defense that 2 million active duty service persons currently in the military will actually transition to civilian life. 38% of them, on average, will have 2 children. So what's so critical about being a military-connected kid? Well, of course, they enjoy and they have pride in the fact that their parent is serving and that they're part of a patriotic family and a history in this country. They also have the shared military culture and family, depending on their service, their branch of service, but they sacrifice. And so they sacrifice time with their parents because parents go on deployments or they have field trainings. Sometimes their parents come back from these experiences different, either physically or emotionally. Most of all, these kids worry. Additionally, did you know that on average, military-connected kids change schools 9 times in their K-12 career? Imagine being in middle or high school, having friendships that you fostered over the years, and all of a sudden you have to move. And these kids aren't just moving to the next county or the adjacent state. They're moving coast to coast, sometimes country to country, one side of the world to the other. And they're leaving friends behind. Now, it's not to say that military kids aren't resilient. We know that our military families and our children are very resilient. But for me, I wondered what was going on with those kids that were in public schools. A lot of us weren't aware that so many of our military-connected kids were attending our civilian schools. There were a few other researchers who had the same interest as me, and over several years, we collected data from kids in schools in Oceanside, California, outside of Camp Pendleton. And we discovered some troubling things. We found that military-connected kids in 7th, 9th, and 11th grade were more likely to report substance use than their civilian peers. They were more likely to report psychological distress, and they were more likely to be bullied in school. From that, we immediately infused with those partner districts. We sent additional pupil personnel there. We sent school social workers, school counselors. We also helped them celebrate military life and culture so that the military-connected kids could feel welcomed within their schools. One such event was when we celebrated the United States Marine Corps birthday in school with a nice, huge cake, and we had representation of arms, and actually the military-connected kids got to talk about the culture of the Marine Corps birthday and why it's important. Anecdotally, the Marine Corps kids told us that it felt good to share with their peers. The teachers became aware that they were military connected. Some of them didn't know. I started asking them, is your parent home? Are they deployed? How are you? And they felt seen and cared for. From that, though, I still wanted to know, but what are the stressors? Like, what's the difference? Because these are great kids. Like, I was in these schools, right? And so I collected some additional data. I did 24 interviews with 24 semi-structured interviews with kids in ages 12 to 17. And what we found was that the kids who had negative behaviors, who reported things like substance use and emotional issues, those kids reported that having negative experiences with other military-connected kids and being bullied were the primary causes of most of their stress in school. And so we know that kids who relocate a lot, the new kid in the school gets bullied, right? And we know that getting bullied, that's been all over the place. Getting bullied has negative consequences for any child, regardless of whether they're military-connected or not. From that, I just want you to know that the kids really want our help. And so one of our participants said, and I'm paraphrasing, don't have it exactly memorized, but one of our participants said, yes, the bullying still happens, not so much physical anymore, but verbal. I want the school to do something, not just say, hey, that's not okay, guys. I want them to do something. And so What you guys may not know is that Texas has the third largest percentage of active duty military personnel. There are over 700,000 veterans living in the state of Texas. Many of them have children, and their children attend our schools. I want to know if those military-connected kids here are having the same experiences as what we found in California. These are the questions that I want to answer for Texas educators and our military-connected kids here in Texas. Thank you.